to know who's with me today. So let's go ahead and get this party started. Okay, so y'all, can I tell you that my heart is so full? It is. And here's what I want to say. We all want our parents to invest in their child's dance education and see them grow. But sometimes, as busy studio owners and entrepreneurs, we forget that we ourselves, in fact, need to invest in ourselves if we want to grow our businesses as well. So we have to take the same idea and the same thought and the same principle and apply it to our own businesses and our own lives as well. And so last weekend, I actually attended a high level coaching retreat that I'm part of a program that it absolutely did. It left me full of inspiration, ideas to implement, and just some really great goodies to share with y'all. And so, in this week's episode of the Erin Burd Live Show, I'm going to share some of my biggest takeaways from the weekend and how they apply to you. And so, if you want to get a copy of today's show notes, just drop a retreat in the comments below, and we will make sure to get that over to you as well, because there are going to be some little nuggets in here for you today. If you are new here, hello, y'all. I'm Erin Burd, and I support dance studio owners and educators to grow their own businesses and create their own unique vision of success, all without the burnout, the overwhelm, or sacrificing their personal lives. And so, if you know somebody here who needs to hear this message, go ahead and sprinkle the love around. We absolutely want to make sure that we are sharing the love with anybody who wants some of these takeaways from what I learned, because I'm going to be sharing with you the nuggets. I'm going to be sharing you some actual practical things that I learned that can absolutely apply to you and your business as well. And so if you're joining me, say, Erin, what's up? I want to know that you're here with me so we can chat more about it. So I'll get the party started here in the chat and say, hello, what is up? And yes, okay, making sure that there's a little bit of a delay sometimes. So want to make sure that everybody's here. All right, so are we ready to dive in today? Okay, so I am part of a program called the GLAM program, and Molly Mahoney is our fearless leader who absolutely shows and exudes what being a good human is all about, and being kind and standing for joy and really just showing up as the beautiful, authentic you that you are. And so I will be honest with you, when I first joined this program, I joined because I knew that I was ready for the next level, right? And that, but I wanted the quickest path to get there, right? And I knew that every successful athlete has a team, really, probably, of coaches by their side that are helping them and pushing them to get to the next level. And so when I joined GLAM, I joined it because I knew that her systems and her strategies worked. I had, taken the time to look into the program. I knew it aligned with what I wanted to do, and I knew that her values aligned with mine. And so I went ahead and I dove in because I wanted the strategy and the system and all of that. But one of the first and foremost huge takeaways that I had from this last weekend was that community is actually everything. And so, can I tell you the amount of brilliance that was in the room at this event was mind-blowing. It was mind-blowing. And there were people inside this community that all walks of life, as in all different industries, all different niches. Y'all, I was the only person who worked with dance studio owners. But there are people in there who, maybe their niche and their industry was branding, and we had people in there who were funnels masters, and we had people in there who who created CRM systems. And so there were so many varied types of individuals there that were serving different communities, but the brilliance in the room and the knowledge that they poured into each and every person um, left me so inspired to just continue to show up in even a bigger way for y'all, right? Because that's how we turn what we do into like this whole my little ripple. Like, I'm in here, and yes, I've in the past I served my personal community, or communities I should say, but the way for me to make a bigger impact in the world is to be able to share with you. And so this is one of the reasons why I continue to invest. But what I'll tell you about the community is this: that when I initially invested in the program, I can't tell you that community was like the number one reason, because it really wasn't. But what I will tell you is that it was a beautiful byproduct that has left me with some fantastic relationships, some people that know and get me and what I'm doing and my why behind I'm doing it. And their whys are very similar to my whys. And I feel like a better person and a better human being because of them, and because of knowing them, and because of all of the amazing magic that they're creating and doing in this world. And so community is everything. And so if you are part of Teach Preschool Dance, I want you to know that this is what we're creating in Teach Preschool Dance as well. Like, we're creating a community of people who know you and understand what you're doing. And I have to tell you that one of the biggest takeaways is please, 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 please don't discount community, because it's absolutely integral into your success. And so let me know in the comments below, have you found your community, like your people? And if not, we want to be your people, right? Because it's so much more fun when you do things together than trying to go at it all alone all the time, right? So community is everything. That was like one of my big takeaways, and that I absolutely love who was in the room with me. And I will never, ever, ever discount community again, ever. I've always known community is important, you guys, but like being in the room with them reignited and reaffirmed my beliefs in community. And so I want to know, like, do you have your community? Do you have your people that are walking on this journey with you? Let me know in the comments. I want to know below. All right. The second thing is kind of practical things that I learned that, you could use and how they apply to you. So here we go. So Molly Mahoney, who, like I told you, is one of my mentors, she had just returned from Social Media Marketing World, which is like one of the conferences in the social media world. It was happening in San Diego, California. And so she went and she came back full of some practical tips, tricks, strategies for us that we can implement. Yes. So Shauna, you have a community or a tribe, but always long for more ways to develop it. Yes. So we have to look at how can we be intentional. And so, and always looking, we have, I have a few really tight knit people who I call my besties, my business besties. But learning how to expand my network and learning from other people. So good. Okay, so these social media hacks, I want to talk to you about these because here's the deal. If I'm being completely honest, I have a busy schedule, right? I'm running more than one business. And yes, we have systems and we have, right, all those things to help alleviate time. But that doesn't mean that my schedule isn't busy based upon um, the frameworks that I put in my life. Like a non-negotiable for me was that I will drop off my kiddos to school and I will pick them up, right? 95% of the time, right? Unless I'm traveling for business or, something like that. But that was super important to me. And so my work schedule is from like 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. right? So for me, I have to make it a priority to get all my things done, right? So when it comes to social media, raise your hand. Let me know, have you thought ever, like, who has time to spend their whole life on social media? Not I. I've got things to do, right? But I know that I need to be consistent on social media. I know I need to show up on social media. I know that for me to create more leads inside my business, I need to show up on social media consistently. I need to be here. I know that for my business, right? But at the same time, in the back of my head, I'm like, Lord, this could be just my full-time job. This could be a full-time job for somebody, right? And so one of the things that she dove into for us is, let me know, how much time are you spending for your business intentionally on social media a day? Let me know, right? Because a lot of us will spend time on social media doing this, but not being intentional about your business. So that's something totally different, right? But I want to know in the comments, how long do you spend every day on social media being intentional about growing what you're doing and how you're showing up? I want to know. And there's no shame in here if you're like, hey, I haven't really done that because I've been doing other things. That's okay, right? But one of the big things that we did this weekend was Molly shared with us how to take one single piece of content that you create and magically repurpose it into many little pieces. So you're not recreating the wheel over and over and over again, right? But you're intentional. You create this one piece of content, and from that, we're pulling out and we're doing multiple things with that one piece. Y'all, that's a game changer to be able to do that and to be able to pull multiple things out and not spend all your time like doing all the things. And so she shared with her system and all the different things because for to be honest with you guys know I'm pretty transparent when it comes to things. And so like this Facebook live that I'm doing with the Erin Burd live show, we will take this one piece. So this is a piece of content for me, right? And we will take this and we will turn it into many different things. And so what are some of the things that we will turn it into? We'll take this live and we can break it into smaller little bits and segments that we can share later on Instagram or again on Facebook or things. Because here's the deal, guys. What I want to share with you is that sometimes we forget that just because you post something doesn't mean that everybody saw it. Dare I say it, right? And so I may post this and I'm here doing my live and, Jennifer might see it, but maybe Michelle didn't see it. And that's okay. And so I'm going to repurpose bits and pieces that maybe next time Michelle will see. Right? So remember that just because you share something once, it doesn't have to be one and done, right? So here with this, right, we repurpose and we create the show notes. So if you want a copy of the show notes, drop a retreat below, and we're going to turn that into show notes and or a blog, right? That you can add and you can put on your website. You could send out to your families, right? So that's just one way. Then, so that's two ways. We can break it apart into smaller bits. We can go ahead and turn it into a blog, right? We could turn it into quote cards. There's so many different things that you can do. She actually gave us like 10 different things that we can create repurposing magic, right? So a takeaway for you guys is that you can create one piece of content and then turn it into, 3, 4, 5 different things, which then lightens your load, but allows you to stay present. What do you guys think about it? Can you give me a heck yes in the comments if that's something that sounds like a game changer for you? Because I know so many times we might feel like we get caught up in doing all the things, right? Let me know in the comments. Okay, so here's another thing. You guys get ready for it. Drum roll. So one of the other really super fun things that she shared with us was how to create gifts. Now, you might be thinking, Erin, what's the point in creating a gift, right? Like, how is that going to make an impact in my business? But let me tell you, number one, I need to know who else is obsessed with gifts. I love gifts because they're an easy and quick way to to connect with someone. They're an easy and quick way to relate with someone, and they move your connection points forward without you having to try to think of the right thing to say. And they also change up in social media from just text to, oh, there's, this moving things. They are so fun, right? Okay, so I absolutely love them. And so when we were going over this weekend, she walked us through how to create our own gifts. So y'all, get ready because you are going to be seeing some gifts dropping in your way of of me. And we made some really fun ones this weekend. They're so fun. And they're really, guys, they're easy. They're easy. And when I say that they're easy to make, they really are. I mean, yes, there's a few steps, and you might need to get, if you want searchable ones, you have to get a Giphy account or a Tenor account, right? But again, those are free. And here's what can happen in your studio with us. Yes, you can't convey tone or emotion in text only. Hello, right? So a GIF is a super fun way of bridging that gap, right? And so why does this matter for you in your studios? You could create, let's say, a dozen. Let's just say a dozen. And I know you might be even thinking whoa, a dozen, Erin. But you could create them pretty quickly, right? Of things that are typical replies that you might have, right? So I did a gift that's like, hi, which is me, right? Hey, that's me. If you know me, you know that's me, right? I think that would convey a hello to you much more than me just typing hi, right? Or things like that, or if you search a GIF all the time because you're like, I love that GIF. It's perfect. It says exactly what I need to say. Why not create your own? And then you can use those sort of things with your families and social media. It's just super fun, and it will up your engagement. It will up your engagement in your posts. And that is the key for us in social media. Engagement is key. All right. So how to create gifts, why we should do them. Y'all be on the lookout because some gifts might be of Miss Erin Burd. Might be coming your way. So keep an eye out because we're going to be using these and they're so much fun. And let me know. I have been thinking about, so this summer I will be going to some conferences, and I was thinking about doing a gift creating suite, or We can create gifts together. I could walk you through that. Would be that something be if you were to go to a conference this summer, like would you want to do something like that? Let me know in the comments. I need to know. Because I need to know if I'm going to like plan this out because I'm a planner and if I'm going to do it, we need to do it right, which means we need to start planning right now. So let me know in the comments. Would you like to go to not a gift, a gifting suite, a way to create your own gifts and for us to walk you through it. Would that be fun? Or y'all got this on your own? Let me know. Yes, love doing it all together. So much fun. Okay, one of the other social media hacks that we talked about, and I did mention a little bit the other day, was at Social Media Marketing World, they were talking about analytics. And I know for some of us, we're like, how fun is that? But the truth of the matter is, we need to know how Facebook and Instagram and stuff, how their analytics are working, how they're changing their algorithms based upon what you're doing and how you're showing up. And so, my friends, Instagram and Facebook, although owned by the same company, have two very different ways of showing up or looking at their analytics. So right now, let me know in the comments, who does Facebook stories right now? Who does Facebook stories or who does Instagram stories? So let me know in the comments below, which ones have you done or have you been thinking about doing? And I'm going to tell you the best strategy for each one right now. So they are weighing heavily. So they want you to do stories, right? We want you to do stories. So here's the thing. On Instagram, they want you to actually post short, quick stories multiple times a day. And they would like you to use, the sticker function that they have, but not just like the heart stickers or whatever. No. That's not what we're talking about. They want you to use those engagement stickers, like the poll stickers or the versus stickers, right? Like they want you to use those ones to help boost engagement. So on Instagram, if you're using their stories function, then you want to do things like, maybe like a routine sort of thing, like, oh my gosh, I do my morning coffee or my morning tea, and here's my cute mugs that I use. And that's just a normal one that like primes the pump, starts getting things going. Then maybe you post another one that's like a poll, right? That you could use. And then maybe the one that's later is like a quick story from one of your classes, right? Because you're building. So they want you to do multiple stories a day. And yes, use those engagement stickers. Okay. Those are big. You haven't been doing it a lot. You've done them on your personal account and you've done it for your words, y'all. Okay. I'm like, I should have just like showed this because clearly I couldn't talk. Right? So you've been doing them on your personal account and you've done some for your church page that you manage. But maybe we could start doing these for our studios, right? Okay. So thank you for sharing that. Oh my goodness gracious, y'all, words. Words are so hard. Some days they're harder than others. Okay. So, now what's the difference for Facebook? Okay. Yes. If you've been thinking about adding Facebook stories, do it. Do it. Yes. But here's the deal with Facebook stories. Here's where the difference happens. Facebook stories. Okay. When you go to Facebook stories and you see like all the dots across and you're like, oh my gosh, that's too much to watch. Right? So with Facebook, they don't want you doing stories over and over and over again. And like they actually are showing more weight to more of your people when you actually do a story or two, but you actually let them expire before you post another one. Okay, so this is where it's a little bit different. Instagram, they want multiples. Facebook, they're kind of taking, I don't want to say a less is more approach to stories, but they want you to expire because it starts to clog things up, right? And let me know in the comments below how many times if you go to an Instagram or Facebook thing and you're like, you see all the dashes on the top and you're like, ooh, I don't know that I'm going to get through all that. And so you just keep going, right? So this is where the less is more approach is better for Facebook when it comes to stories, right? And stories, you guys, stories can create sales. And there's a lot of really great things that you can do to and use stories to leverage and to create sales and to create momentum and for leads and that sort of thing. So those were really fantastic takeaways, that little nuggets that were dropped for us this weekend. All right, so I have 2 more big takeaways, but let's talk about number 3. Okay, so decision is the key to success. This weekend, as I was sitting there listening and taking notes and doing all the things, I had a moment and a thought. Decisions are really forks in the road. And that life doesn't just happen to us. We are active participants. Or inactive, which is a decision. But we get out of life what we choose. We get out of life what we choose, right? And I think one of the keys for successful people in decision making is that people who are successful, they make their decisions based upon their goals and where they want to be, not where they are or where they were in the past. Because your past does not define you. Remember, it's decisions are forks in the road. So we get to decide which road we take, which path we take. And actually, while I was there was one of the members of my program, his name, funny enough, I'm wearing my Decide shirt. Y'all, just decide. If you've been around me for a while, you know I'm all about it. Just make a decision, right? And one of the members in our group, Jordash Johnson, right? He, brilliant man. And he said, we were talking about making decisions and how we all approach making decisions. And he said, well, my mama always used to tell me not making a decision was actually a decision, right? Making a decision to not decide is deciding that you're going to stay exactly where you're at or in that particular situation, right? Which is very true. So decision is the key to success. And each person in the room had made the decision to be there. And you know, there's so many other things I could have done with my weekend last weekend, right? Y'all know that my family is the number one priority in my life above all else, right? And so weekends, right, are normally spent with my family. And so leaving and saying, nope, I'm going to be in the room where it happens. Oh my gosh, y'all, I'm going to start singing, and I'm not a singer, but here we go. Okay, so right, making the decision that Investing in myself, in my business, in my personal growth is key to me actually growing, right? Decision is key. And let me tell you, there's a lot of dead squirrels in the road because they just couldn't make a decision. Y'all, here I go. Okay, so the truth of the matter is we have to have a system for making decisions. And here's the thing. I'm sure you've heard that a lot of people say, oh, there's so much decision fatigue right now after the last couple of years, which is true, right? But I think being able to quantify there are small, medium, and large decisions in your life, right? And that not all of them are weighted equally is key. And the other thing I'll say is like, for most of us, as we move into, a new season of life, that you probably aren't going to have big decisions to make every single week. And if every single week you're stuck in trying to make the same decision, what are you doing? Right? What are you doing? Most of us will only have 1 to 2 big decisions a year. Everything else, all the other decisions fall into like a medium or, small category, truth be told. So if you feel like you're stuck in indecision, I want you to take a moment and think about your actual goals. Because if the decision aligns with your goals, your values, and your vision, it should be an easy decision. Or if it doesn't, it should be an easy decision. But this weekend, we leaned into decision and our power to decide. And y'all, that's a game changer. And I love working with my clients on that. And so, yes, boom, right? Decision is the key to success. It really is, right? So now, let me tell y'all, I've got one more golden nugget takeaway I want to share with you today. I mean, I could go on and on and on about all the goodness that came out of this weekend for me, but I have one more golden nugget takeaway that I want to share with you. But before we do that, I do want to let y'all know and remind you that if you didn't know, or you did know, that the doors are open for the Mobile Dance Mastermind, which is like my signature group coaching program. We go through how you can launch, get yourself started, or grow your own mobile program. So going out to preschools and daycares and after school programs and retirement communities and right, like we can apply this business model to so many different things. And so this is where I walk with you hand in hand, right, in launching and growing this program. This one program for myself has led me into multiple 6 figures. For some of my clients, they have crossed the 6-figure mark with this one program, not all their other stuff in their studio, but this one program. And I have other clients who said, look, remember we talked about our own unique vision of success, where they're like, I just want to add an extra $20,000 this year in revenue from this program, right? So this is the place for you if you want the community, if you want the support of someone who's been there, done that, got the ribbon to prove it, right? These are proven systems that will work for you. The system works. And so I'm not going to go into too much detail about what the Mobile Mastermind is, but you can absolutely get more information, erinburd.com/mastermind, or two different ways. You can message me and we can chat about it. Or the second way is drop a mobile below in the chat and we can get together and talk about if this is the right time for you, if this is the right program for you. Because what I will tell you is this: parents are ready, y'all. I just had a center that we're going back into, and typically there are around the 20 students will enroll from their center into our program. Y'all, 38 enrolled this time because parents are ready. Parents are ready. We are seeing these centers, the enrollment is doubling there for us at many different centers because parents are ready. They need you and they love convenience. So, y'all, we should talk if this is something that you've thought about doing or you're ready to tweak some things and you want to grow your business. So, let's get into the very last golden nugget takeaway for today. So, my friends, I know this might sound so silly. Or proof. I mean, I cannot say this enough. The more fun you have in life and in business, the more money you will make. Do y'all hear me? The more fun you have, the more money you will make. Do you believe that to be true? Let me know in the comments. I want to know. Because here's the deal. I talk to studio owners and dance educators day in and day out. And I hear about the struggle, the overwhelm, the anxiety, the stress, the struggle. And what happens is we get so bogged down in those sort of things that we stop having fun. And that is where the overwhelm and stuff starts to happen. And when we stop having fun in our business and in our life, because sometimes I hear, Erin, I'm so busy like trying to do all the things with my business and make it work that like my personal life is taking a toll, right? Or my relationships are taking a toll. And so when we make having fun a priority, you will feel better. You will be excited and show up in a different way. And so who wants to commit to the mantra and to leaning into the more fun I have, the more money I make? Raise your hand. I want to know. Because let me tell you, can I share with you guys? When I have like leaned into this idea and I actually did an audit, you know me, I'm about auditing all our numbers, auditing things, getting data, because data doesn't lie, right? Numbers don't lie, like those sort of things. I did every year at the beginning of a new year, I go through and I audit how much fun I had compared to how much money I was making. And when I go and I have more fun with my family, my friends, when I lean into self-care more, my business prospers. I make more money. But in those moments that I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not hitting the numbers I wanted to hit, or da 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 da, and I'm like feeling weighed down in that, it's reflected in my financials, y'all. So, who wants to lean into the more fun I have, the more money I make? Right? And making money is not a bad thing. You could do more when you make more money for others, for charity, for things that are important to you, for your community. So I want to just say that right now, making more money is not a bad thing. But the more fun I have, the more money I make. And I hope that you guys can recognize and lean into making fun for you, yourself, your friends, your family a priority. Because when you do, magic will happen. I promise you. Okay. I could go on, but I value not only your time, but my time as well. So here's the thing. Let's just do a quick little recap for today on breaking down what my takeaways were from the weekend retreat that I went to, right? The first thing was that community is everything, right? Who you surround yourself with is paramount to your success. Proximity is everything, right? I took away some really juicy social media hacks, how to magically repurpose your content to free up more time for yourself and not reinvent the wheel over and over again. I learned how to make really fun GIFs, so fun. I learned how IG and Facebook are different in their stories analytics and algorithms. So definitely that was really great to learn. Number 3, decision is the key to success, y'all. You have to just decide. Just make a decision, one way or another, right? You can't move forward if you're stuck in indecision. And then that last little golden nugget takeaway is that we have to lean into having more fun in our business and our personal lives. We have to prioritize fun and play and joy, because that is a ripple effect into everything else that we do. That is how we show up for our students, our families, and our friends. And no one wants to be around a grumpy Gus, right? So if you infuse intentionally more play and more fun, you can't help but see the ripple effect inside your own businesses. Can't, because it's contagious in a good way, right? It's contagious in a good way. And so the last thing is, of course, if you want to talk more about the Mobile Dance Mastermind, I would love to chat with you. I will let you know that pricing will be going up the end of this month. I've kept it the same pricing because of the pandemic, but the pandemic is done with. We're moving on up to new heights, right? And so with that, this is your last chance to get in on the Mobile Dance Mastermind at the current pricing before it increases. So if it's something you've been thinking about, we should at least have a conversation and see if it is the right fit for you. I want to let you know that next week I will be coming on same time, right? Same place here for more business strategy tips and tricks. And I have a very special guest coming on with me next week that you do not want to miss, because we are going to be talking about specific ways to refresh, recharge, and reignite your passion over the next coming months. So I hope that you had an amazing day. Let me know if you come in on the replay what your takeaways are, and if you're going to commit to the mantra of the more fun I have, the more money I make. I'm going to leave you there. Have a fantastic day, friends. And I hope I will see you all very, very soon. Bye, guys.